Hey everybody, it's Astro D, and I'm back here with another video talking about Venus Synastry aspects. Now we have made it up to Mercury. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what happens when you meet a lovely other individual and you want them to be your boo, and you find out your Venus is aspecting their Mercury. I actually like this because it definitely puts a softener, right? A fabric softener in the way the Mercury person communicates, right? Mercury gives Venus more ideas to communicate even better, or more ideas of pleasure. What can you do? So let's say Venus is like, hey, I love going to the beach. Mercury will say, hey, why don't you plan a day where you can rent a house on the beach and then you can stay for the weekend. And then you can have like this luxury vacation weekend and it's still right off the beach. Now, Venus is going to find that idea, Mercury giving the ideas, is going to find that idea wonderful if this is a conjunction here. Mercury and Venus conjunction now. With the conjunction, these energies, of course, they come together. So we have intellect meets grace. Venus is going to color in a beautiful way. Almost, you can't even say it's negative or positive. What is the condition of Venus in conjunctions? You have to look at the natal charts because that is how you will know how that conjunction is going to act out. Look at the natal chart. Look and see if in the natal charts, does Venus have an issue on its own, just being it's Venus in that natal chart? Because if Venus has problems of being overly delusional, let's say this is in Pisces, and the person has the Mercury in Pisces. This is a dreamy couple. They will go off into the world of beautiful luxury and fantasy together. And if it's not luxury, it's just some form of fantasy-like spaces. Oh, and real quick, if you guys are enjoying these drawings I'm doing, I hope so. If you're enjoying my drawings, they are for sale, and you can buy them in my YouTube shop below, or you can go to my Astro D Stars website and pick it up. In this video, of course, this piece is going to be called Venus and Mercury Synastry. So back to the good stuff. So now with Venus and Mercury, this is going to color the way Mercury communicates, and this is going to color the way Venus finds themselves enjoying life, the way Venus values themselves. Mercury will make them think about it. But if Mercury, right, I was talking about how with Venus is in Pisces and how they're both two very dreamy couples, but let's say Venus is having a problem with Neptune natally. With one person. The Venus person has Neptune squaring their Venus or whatever issue they have with their Venus. It's going to color the way the Mercury person thinks about how their value is exuded. So let's say Venus does not know their worth. Mercury is going to embody that in their thinking about Venus, about that person's worth. Hey, you know what? This person doesn't know their value. They're really valuable, but they don't show it. Mercury may either tell the Venus person, hey, you're delusional. If, let's say, Mercury is on point. Mercury's, trining Jupiter or something. Mercury and Jupiter are in harmony. So the Mercury person wants to uplift that Venus person, is going to talk to the Venus person. Hey, you don't have to look like that. Or you look better than you think you do. Venus like, what? Well, you look so much better. Why don't you plan ahead the night before with your clothes so that you could look a little bit better tomorrow and you don't be walking outside with your clothes wrinkled? You feel me? So now we go to something like a opposition or a square, right? This is when it starts to get a little low vibrational here. I don't like how you talk. The way you talk, you cramp my style. The way you talk. This is my desire, and the way you think are clashing. What I think about your desires may not be accurate. I might think I might think you are a super freak hoe, and you're like, really? Oh my God, that's not even me. But Mercury's could be confused. There is a clash on the way you are communicating or exuding your beauty, your self-value. Also financially, Mercury is going to speak about the way Venus is spending their money, similar to Venus in the second house or Mercury in the second house. Really, it's very similar to Mercury in the second house. It's going to talk about how are you spending your money, Venus? You overspending. Mercury does not like how they do it. And they're going to let them know. They're going to let them know and communicate that, or they can improve it. See, when you have these people on your side, they help you. When not, they can be very destructive. Or if Mercury is the one that has the problem, Mercury will be like, oh my God, you got some money? Let's just spend it all now. You know, you only live once. Things like that. Mercury will always know what to do with Venus's money, or will have some type of say on Venus's money. Okay, so I'm back to the clash now. Like, Venus also is not going to like something about how Mercury thinks. Like, Venus may think they're dumb. Venus might think they're not intellectually sound, right? They don't have it together. Okay, you know, the way your speech pattern is off. You're cramping my style. Anytime there's a square to Venus, whatever it is cramping Venus's style, throwing me off. I have no desire. I have no desire for your critique on what I'm wearing or, you know, how I'm spending my money either. So Mercury has an issue with the way Venus is spending money, and Venus has an issue with the way Mercury wants to talk to them about it. I don't want to hear it. Is most likely the situation here. Let me know in the comments what you are experiencing in the situation with the square and the opposition. Now, you know how I talk about the oppositions? Now, this is a tug and the pull of what is needed from the other. This opposition is really needed. The square, this is just straight up, I don't like it. It's rubbing me wrong. Shut up. Okay? So when we get to the opposition, though, this is the push and the pull of, hey, you got something that I might need to think about. I have something that you may need to adjust your mind in a better way to. You might need to soften up, Mercury. How could you soften up and be a little bit lighter on things? Aquarius and Leo opposition. Mercury and Aquarius, you got Mercury and Venus and Leo. Mercury in Aquarius is like, let's think about the future. Let's think about the people. What we need to go out. What are other people thinking about this? What do other people think about how you're dressing, Venus and Leo? And Venus and Leo is like, I'm the ish. What are you talking about? I am the centerpiece of the world. But see, this is where we need each other. Venus might need to come down sometimes. Okay? Because I'm not with humbling no kings and queens. Unless they're just corrupt and a-holes. But you know, Mercury's kind of like, well, all right, Venus, maybe you need to come down off of that high horse and think of the people in which you serve, the humanity, the kingdom in which you serve. Because you are, you know, supposed to rule the people, hypothetically speaking, you know. And Venus is like I said, yeah, you know, all right, well, maybe Venus needs to start thinking about people more. So there's a push and pull between what's mine is mine. All right, well, what do the other people think? And the same thing with that Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius needs to get a little selfish now. Venus might be like, hey, you might enjoy this. You might enjoy just being the center of it all instead of being in the mix with everybody. Maybe you should think a little bit more calmer. Have some good times. Have a little more pleasure. Do this with a little bit more grace and take some vacation sometimes, Mr. Humanity Mercury. So again, the point I like to make with oppositions, I'm going to continue to make it because I just like it. But the point I'm making is these oppositions are the push and pull that we do need to balance ourselves, to balance out that sign. So the oppositions are rough because there is a clash. There's a difference in a clash, but it's not as bad as, let's say, this square here. I don't like the way you spend your money. I don't like how, if you don't like how, if you don't feel someone has value, you need to walk away. If a person isn't valuable to you, and if you don't feel somebody's valuing you, then you should walk away. And it sucks because sometimes it's the funnest, sweetest, kindest, nicest people, and they do things and you're like, wow, you're so dope, but you don't value me. So I painfully have to walk away from this situation. Pay attention to Venus Mercury aspects, but I always love it. Venus makes Mercury talk better on a trine. You know, there's harmony. It's easy to talk to Mercury. It's easy. Mercury doesn't judge Venus. Mercury enhances Venus intellectually. Mercury can intellectually speak to the value inside of you. Very, very valuable. So the trine is where this, again, of course, this would be taken for granted or dismissed or just so subtly felt. Another situation could be that it easily brings out the lower vibrations of each person's planet. It can do that. It can do that very well if both parties tend to fight or both parties tend to be stubborn. This can make this even more easier to go down. So again, if you want to go further into all of these synastry aspects, you can grab